to YouTube. Ok, good. Agora estamos ao vivo nos 3 canais. Very nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for being here. I am Leonardo Leite, broadcasting through Instagram and YouTube, and my fellow students from Clube do Inglês com Leonardo Leite. Thank you so much for being here. Good evening, everyone. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 3 pillars, the 3 most important points that you need to understand in order to learn a language. In our case here, English. And you're going to be surprised, okay? You're going to be surprised about this. If you've been following me on Instagram, you probably know, oh, my mustache here. You probably already know what these 3 pillars are all about. All right. And so let me say hello to everybody here. Hello, Luis Lopez. Hello, Nelly. All right. Hello, Fabio. All right. Fábio de Souza Lima says, a magic story é show e viciante. Estou na number 8 magic story back in 1999. All right. Now, guys, people from Zoom, if you can hear me well, just type in that you can hear me. And let's get started here. Okay. I have been talking about this for over, I don't know, 20 years. And something that I really need you to understand, all right, when I talk about these 3 pillars. Number one, and trust me, all right, because if you learn these 3 things, your English and your learning process, your English learning process will get a boost that you won't even imagine. All right? The first thing that you need to understand is that you do not learn English with a teacher, with an English school, not even with me, not even with my courses. All right, and this is very important. This is very important. You learn, what you know in English, you did not learn in a classroom with a private teacher inside an English school. You have learned what you know outside, doing whatever you were doing or doing nothing, but outside the classroom, okay? Away from your private tutor, okay? Everything that you know about English today, you learned in your brain in a different situation because you were exposed to the language. As you were being exposed to the language right now, okay? Of course, I am an English teacher. I speak slowly. I use vocabulary, trying to make it easier for you to understand everything. This is, all this kind of shit is real. But it is important that you expose yourself and you expose your ears to the English language, all right? And the first problem is you, and everybody here is more worried about what to say, what to speak. You are worried about how to say embreagem in English. How to say não consigo falar inglês in English. How to say this, how to say that. What is the correct way? What is the right way to say this or that? So all you focus on is your speaking. And why? Because people see us speak. You are looking at me right now and you see me speaking. Let me put this here. So every time, okay, now it's better. Every time you see me speaking English, you probably think, oh man, Leo speaks English very well. When you go into my Instagram and see Gisele Bündchen speaking English with Jimmy Fallon, you say, wow, her English is great. She speaks very good English. And later on my Instagram, I will also show you an interview with Wagner Moura. And I will show you how Wagner Moura speaks English, but that's not the most important. And I could show you how Gisele Bündchen speaks English, but that's not important. You only notice Brazilian people who speak English very well. Right? Let me put this. I think I can do this better. Let's put this here. Yay. All right, right there. Okay. Okay, good. Now you can see me better. Anyway, it's not how to speak. It's not what word to use. It's not if I say on, in, at, under. No, it's how I can understand better. So you need to focus on how to understand fast and better every day. Is that clear? Don't worry about how to speak beautifully, how to speak like a native. Native people, native speakers, English native speakers don't care if you speak just like them. You are not here to learn English to impress people. You're learning English because you need to communicate in this language. And to communicate in this language, you need to understand. And in order to understand, you need to listen. You need to expose your ears to the language on a daily basis. Massive listening. But people are worried about rules. Present simple, past simple, prepositions, vocabulary about a house, vocabulary about an office, vocabulary related to school. Okay, all these things help you, but they do not make you able to use it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Guimarães says, pronúncia impecável, mas a gente entendendo pouco ou quase Nada. No, my pronunciation is not impeccable. My pronunciation is not impeccable. I make mistakes all the time. Gisele Bündchen makes mistakes all the time. Wagner Moura makes mistakes all the time. And all the native English speakers make mistakes all the time. We make mistakes speaking Portuguese all the time. Mistakes are part of your language life. Okay? But we Brazilians and Portuguese speakers, I don't know why we worry so much about making mistakes, and we criticize what other people say in English. It's amazing. Brazilian people or Portuguese speakers, they listen to another Portuguese speaker speaking English, and they said, wow, what a terrible English that person has. Come on, it's not your language to say that. Okay? It's not. And if you see a foreigner come, here in Brazil, and he starts saying, meu português não ser muito bom, and I tentar falar português melhor cada dia. Eu esperar que vocês compreendem ter paciência comigo. Right? GTWL23 said, don't worry about time. Just keep doing it. And that's it. That's it. All right. So the first thing that you need to understand, let's go to number one pillar of our learning process. Number one is attitude. Attitude. All right. What does that mean? It means inspiration, motivation, positive thinking. You need to have a positive approach to the learning process. If you don't think you can do it, you won't. If you think it's too difficult, if you think it's too hard, you won't be able to go through the process. If you think you need to study very, very hard, all the grammar rules, you need to take notes on grammar points and rules, you're not going to make it. And you need to have a reason why you want to learn that language. It could be for fun, like my great mentor, Steve Kaufman, says. I mean, he loves learning languages, all right? The guy loves learning languages, and he speaks over 20 languages. And you see how interesting it is. Every time we talk about somebody who has acquired the English language, we say he or she speaks. Léo fala inglês. Luiz Lopes fala inglês. Fulano de tal fala. Eu quero falar inglês. E os cursos marqueteiros todos dizem: vou fazer você falar inglês, porque falar inglês has become a product to be sold in the market, right? Do you want to speak English? I have the solution for you. And I'll have you speak English in about 3 weeks. You'll be talking fluently. And you go there and say, okay, how long will I take to be speaking fluently? Oh, 3 to 8 weeks tops. Okay. And then you give them the money, and then they start teaching you whatever they need to teach you in order to put you speaking English. That's why there are so many people around here who knows how to speak whatever they want, but they don't understand anything a native speaker says. They don't understand any, English speaking movies, series, Netflix, or whatever. They have a real hard time to understand. So let's go back here. Attitude. Okay. And so number one, guys, attitude. Positive attitude. Understand that you are going to make it. And you know why I know you're going to be able to use the English language? Because I can do it. And I'm not better than you. I didn't have better opportunities than you. It's my brain is exactly the same as yours. The abilities that my brain can achieve, so can yours. All right? So this is really important. Your brain is designed to learn languages. Your brain is designed to learn everything, but especially languages. I know that because I learned it, and I did not study. I did not sit down on my chair at home, opened an English book and started studying English. I did not do that. I did that when I started teaching. And I was taught to teach English in the wrong way, using the wrong way. Right? But I'll talk about that in a few moments. All right. Lucy Amada says, hi, Leo. Happy to see you. Good. Yeah, I'm getting better. Thank you so much, Lucia. Thank you so much. I'm reading the comments here. Guys, you can leave comments. All right. Luis Carr says, how many languages do you speak? Well, I can say that I actually speak 3 languages. But some friends of mine will say that it's a joke, all right? But I do speak Portuguese fluently. I speak English fluently. And I understand Spanish with no problem. But when I speak Spanish, I tend to use some Portuguese words too. So people say that I normally speak Portugal, right? Yeah, GT saying there, just spend more time with okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. All right. But I don't know his name. Just tell me your name, my friend. GTWL23. It sounds as if we are in the future, like 2125, when people don't have names anymore, just a few letters and codes and numbers. Alex Massey said, I live in London. I understand 70, 80, but not speak so fast and correct. Great, you are on the right way. All right, you're in the right way. All right, Wellington. Okay, great. Anyway, and let me know in the chat box if this way I'm doing with you right now, just talking my ideas, telling you my ideas, all in English, if it's better for you, or should I be switching back into Portuguese e Inglês? Eu acho que all in English is better. And for those who are at Clube do Inglês with Leonardo Leite, we'll have the transcription of everything I say here. All right. So you're going to be able to listen to me again, talking about these ideas, and practice your listening and expose your ears to me talking in English to you, which, of course, it can help you a lot. All in well, but Wellington says all in English. Marcelo Ferreira says all in. Well, Marcelo says Inglês, but he wants me to say all in English. Okay. Guys on Zoom. Guys on Zoom, what do you think? Let's see. Hang on. Pera aí, galera. All right. Luis Lopez says, not so much what? Not so much English? Really? I doubt that. I doubt that. Elisette says all in English. Nilza says in English. Okay. Lucas says. Now, thank you, Lucas. Thank you. Yes, Marcelo Ferreira says English, please. I need to. Yeah, I need to practice my ears. All right. All right, good. So let's keep on doing all in English. Luis Lopez says, I think you could always speak English, understand everything clearly so far. That's great. That's great. So number one, attitude. All right. Number one, attitude. Number two, if you have any questions about attitude, you can type in, I'll answer. Okay. Number two, time. You need to put in the time. Okay. Some people invest a lot of money buying expensive English training and English courses, but they don't put in the time, right? It's like going to the gym, right? That's my life. I love going to the gym, paying the fee, right? Every month, but I never go. So you need to put in the time. At least 1 hour every day. At least 1 hour every day. And within this hour, you need to be listening and reading. So in this 1 hour, you can allocate about 60 or 70%, about 45 minutes listening and reading, and the other 15 minutes working on the third pillar, working on looking up new words, understanding new phrases, and then with the magic stories, you can practice speaking, because the magic stories allow you to talk to me. So you can listen to me doing all the activities in a magic story without speaking. You can just listen to me, right? But you have three activities. We have three activities in the magic story in which you have the opportunity to reply to whatever I'm telling you. Listen and answer. You will listen to me asking you a question about the story, and you'll answer the way you want. And listen, retell, look and retell. I mean, you're going to look at the questions that you have worked before in the listen and answer activity, and try to retell the story by just remembering the questions. And last but not least, you will listen to me saying something to you about the story, and you're going to ask me a question for that sentence. Like, Grazi is 45 years old. Ask me. And then you ask me, how old is Grazi? What I'm trying to say is magic stories, in the magic stories is the only training I know in which you can practice listening massively and repeatedly to each magic story and try to speak. And if you don't feel like speaking, don't force yourself. This is important for the magic story students. All right. I know that most of people here in Zoom are magic story students. All right. Remember, if you don't feel comfortable speaking, don't. But go back and listen again, because your brain needs a great amount of input in order to recognize patterns that later in the future it will recognize. It will recognize. Okay? So sometimes, and there's one more thing. Don't try to listen to stuff that you haven't. Don't try to listen to stuff that you haven't learned yet, at least in your learning process. Okay, example, you're going to start with one new magic story. You need to understand what the story is about. Okay, don't try to guess what the story is about. You have the translation of the story. You have the explanation of all the of the new words, the vocabulary, and you figure everything out before you start listening. When you start listening, after you have figured out all the new words and what the story is about, the context of the story, you will be listening only in English, and your brain will get used to it by knowing what you're listening. Don't try to listen to new stuff without figuring out what it is about. All right? Okay, so at least 1 hour every day, and yes, every day. Okay? And number 3, for me, it's the most important. So number 1, attitude. Number 2, time. And number 3, notice. Notice. Leo, notice. What is notice? Is to observe. Is to notice. Okay? Is to understand something that you didn't understand before. This is very, very important. Notice aspects of the language that you didn't notice before. How can you do that? Listening again and again and again and again, but you don't need to do it every day. Okay? I mean, you can listen to something massively for one day and then you go back to it a week later, but listen again. Because we only learn and we only use what we learn this way when we discover. We do not use what the teachers teach us. Unfortunately, that's the truth. Okay? Teachers are important. Yes, they are. And I respect all the teachers. I am one of them. How could I not respect them? Okay? But when you are in the beginning level, when it's exactly the opposite of what people think. It's it's completely counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive. Everybody thinks that they need a teacher to start learning. No, you will probably need a teacher or a tutor when you are already using the language. And then a tutor and a teacher will be able to help you. If you know nothing, go to the magic stories. Go to whatever, do whatever you want to do, but listen, you do not need a teacher to tell you that I é eu, you é você, he é ele. Qualquer pessoa pode descobrir isso na internet. You don't need to hire a teacher to teach you that. You do not need to hire a teacher to tell you how to say something in English. You can just type in Google. You can Google it. You can Google it. How to say rebimboca da parafuseta in English. Google will tell you and will also give you the pronunciation. You will need a tutor or a teacher to practice with this person. To practice. To have a conversation with that person. And of course, to have this teacher or tutor help you improve your speaking, your pronunciation, right? So, notice. Number one, attitude. Number two, time. And number three, the ability to notice things. And if you understand this, these three concepts, none of them, you can buy it. You can't pay me to give you attitude, to teach you attitude. You can't pay me to give you time. And you can't pay me, to teach you how to notice things, how to observe things. Yes, Oscar said, you can use the ChatGPT. Yeah. Well, the problem with ChatGPT, yeah, you can use ChatGPT and voice emulator, right? Yeah. But the best way is to listen to normal people like me, like native speakers, like any other people talking in English. I think it's much, it's going to be much better than trying to have a robot talking to you. Yeah, Ray Fran BX says, não entendo 98% do que está falando, ou entende 98% do que está falando, mas estou aqui para me familiarizar com a língua. Very good. But remember, não adianta familiarizar com a língua escutando algo que você não sabe do que se trata. Ok? Quando você estiver treinando. This is very, very important. And last, but not least, I'm going to be talking about fluency. All right? And now I want you to type in the chat box what fluency is for you. What fluency in English means to you. Para aqueles que boiaram, escreva aí nos comentários o que fluência em inglês significa para você. O que é ter fluência? Pode escrever o que você quiser, eu quero ver o que a galera fala. All right. That's it. A good teacher don't spoon feed the students. They show the way. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I think so too. Fluency for me is more complex. So tell me. Ronnie says, conseguir me comunicar. Lucas Agrelli said, to keep the flow rolling on. Literalmente falar fluindo, sem dar as gaguejadas habituais. Gente, eu dou gaguejada aqui o tempo inteiro when I'm talking in English. Poder me comunicar sem travar. Paulinho, fluent is to be able to listen to an American FM radio. You know, Paulinho, let me explain who Paulinho is here. Paulinho works in a radio station in São Paulo, and he loves everything about radio. So he says fluent is to be able to listen to an American FM radio and understand the whole speech. I'm proud of my students. To answer a call without a problem, Nilza said. Paulinho. Okay, to answer a call without a problem. Hello? Hi? Sorry, I don't understand. Marcos Freire, entender e ser entendido. Fluente naquele se propõe no que você domina, ainda que seja falar de você, seus hobbies. Very good. Estou gostando de ver as respostas aqui. Fábio de Souza Lima, usar o que sabe. O Fábio tem me acompanhado. All right. Nogueira da Alvinha, compreender e se fazer compreender. Very good, guys. Very good. Mais alguém? Flávia. Não me importa falar como nativo, só quero entender e me comunicar. Estive nos Estados Unidos 20 anos falando tranquilamente with the beautiful accent. I don't care what Americans say about my English, right? Janito, teacher, you're the first teacher listening to you speak. I'll improve your blah, 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 blah. You're incredible teacher. The teacher Fluency is making dialogue with you. All right, this guy. Let's see, Janilton. Soares investe. Fluency to me is to know how to communicate to other people. Yes, guys, I have news. I have good news and I have bad news. Marcos Freire said, eu posso ser fluente, falar sobre mim, das coisas que gosto, mas posso não ser fluente sobre política, economia, por exemplo. Good point. Conversar com brasileiros é difícil, porque você é analisado o tempo todo para ser corrigido por aqueles idiotas, idiotas por minha conta, né? Que se acham superiores. Good. Speak English with Russian accent is funny. Travel to Russia. Right, my love? How are you doing, my love? Okay. Guys, my love is really my love. She's right across the window here. You can't see her. Rony, realmente é frustrante ouvir e não conseguir entender nada. Okay. I have good news for you. I mean, one good news and another bad news. Which one do you want first? The good news is everything you believe fluency is true. Everything I read here about being fluent in English is true. Is to be able to say whatever you want with the words that you know, with the phrases that you know, is to be able to understand other people without any problems, right? Resumindo, professor, você foi o único professor que me ensinou a ouvir e realmente pensar em inglês. All right, Newton Base. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I worked with 5 English people, and I spoke English. I tried with them. One day, I asked one of them if he understood everything, which he said, "I understand some words." Good one, Luis Lopez. Yeah, I understand some words. He understood some words of you speaking English, Luis? Come on, let me know. All right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter your concept of fluency in English. Okay. But I can give you mine. I can give you mine. Is to be able to understand other people speaking English with absolutely no effort. That's my, it doesn't have to be true or fact. It's my point of view. Is to be able to understand other people speaking English effortlessly, without any effort. For me, that's fluency. You know why? You know why? Because I can manage the way I speak. I can practice and train myself to make other people understand what I'm trying to say. And to speak is an active task. It's something that I need to act on. I need to move myself in order to speak. But in order to understand, it's passive, it's not active. Nobody sees me understanding other people speak English. You see me talking, you see me speaking, and you say, oh, that's great, blah, blah, blah. But you don't see how much I understand. It's on my daily life. Get it? So that's my opinion about fluency. But of course, that talking in a flow, like Lucas said, and talking without, stopping, like I do this all the time, because I'm thinking about what I'm saying. Anyway, that's important too, and it takes practice. But let me give you the bad news. It might be good news for you, but fluency, and this is very important. This is very important. Fluency is not the product at the end of an English course. Fluency in English is not the end result, is not the outcome of taking an English course. Fluency is not the outcome, is not the result of being with an English teacher for 1 year. Fluency is not a result. Fluency is a current state. It's a temporary state. It could last forever, but it will depend on your current level, your current relationship with the language. Now, I will move on, mas me diga aí se você entendeu o que eu acabei de dizer sobre fluência. E para testar se você realmente entendeu o que eu falei, escreva aí o que eu falei. Não é mais ou menos, não. Escreva o que eu falei. I just said that fluency is not the outcome of an English course. It's not the result, it's not the end result of some English course that you take. Então, eu vou deixar vocês escreverem aí. All right? Oh my God, is that Cláudio Pedersoli pão de queijo? Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. Hello, pão de queijo. It's nice to see you here. Rony said, dá vontade de chorar. Let me explain this. Oh, this is so hard, I don't remember. Luiz Lopes said, a fluência não é o objetivo, não é o objetivo, o resultado de um curso. A fluência não é o resultado final de um curso. É isso que eu quero explicar para você. Fluência, ou seja, se você fizer o meu curso, a fluência não é o pote de ouro que você coleta na última lição. Fluência é um estado volátil, é temporário. Vamos ver aqui, ó, a Flávia falou alguma coisa. O inglês não depende do resultado de alguns anos de estudo, mas do resultado de se relacionar com a língua. Chique. Very nice. Very nice. That's it. A fluência em inglês sempre vai depender do seu atual relacionamento com o idioma. O exemplo que eu dou em vários vídeos meus no Instagram é: se eu paro um tempo de usar o inglês ou de escutar o inglês ou interagir em inglês com outras pessoas, se eu paro um tempo, a minha fluência diminui, enferruja. Sim, enferruja. E na hora que eu retomo, na hora que eu reativo o uso do idioma, minha fluência aumenta. Então, não existe essa história de eu fiz um curso que me deu fluência. Nice to see you again too, pão de queijo. Ok? Ou seja, fluência em inglês não é algo que você carrega para o resto da vida. Por isso que eu digo, corra de cursos que te prometem fluência. Saia correndo de qualquer curso que promete que você vai ficar fluente, principalmente dentro de um período de tempo. Como é que alguém pode prometer isso para... Como é que alguém pode prometer isso para outra pessoa? Como é que eu posso prometer para você que se você me pagar e eu vou te ensinar, como é que eu posso prometer que você vai ser fluente em inglês? Não tem como. Porque a fluência no idioma é resultado do seu relacionamento íntimo com o idioma e não comigo como professor. Não adianta você ficar íntimo de mim se você não prestar atenção na sua atitude, no tempo que você dedica e na sua capacidade de notar aspectos do idioma que você não reconhecia anteriormente, desista. All right? To learn English, you don't need to learn present simple. To learn English, you don't need to learn present perfect. To learn English and to be able to communicate in English, you do not need to learn phrasal verbs. I mean, you will learn all these things that I just said, okay? But in a way that I have just described here, which is massive exposure. Okay, massive exposure. Anyway, this was the message I wanted to give it to you. For those who are at English Club, this video will be edited and transcribed all in English. So you're going to be able to listen to me and read, okay? All right, so you're going to be able to end, and I will cut all the silences and everything. Let's see people on Instagram here. Sim, fluente é aprender além de curso. Imersão não aprende em um ano. É prática constante. Yes. Fluency is built every single day. Day by day, you improve. Thank you, Luis. Leah, take a look at my comment above. Oh man, there are too many. Let's see. GT. Oh, I totally grasp you, teacher. I can't. Oh, here it is. Leo, once I heard Mairo Vergara saying that not to worry about grammar so much and actually to listen English every day. So the grammar will come kind of naturally to you. Was it you who said that to him? William, I think it's William, right? William, we are friends. Mairo and I are friends, and we talk all the time. We talk all the time. We hang out on telephone, on WhatsApp. One day, Mairo came to Belo, and we went out to drink beer. We talk a lot. We know each other very well. We have worked together. We have had business together. So we think alike. Mairo is a good friend. And for me, it's, I don't know if I should say that, but in my opinion, he is the only English teacher I trust on the internet after myself. He is the only one I really trust. And I endorse whatever he works in order to help you with your English. All right, William. Yes, fake promises. I don't believe. Yesterday I was telling you that promised fluency in 1 year. Yes, that's, we are creating, I am creating this movement here, and people will wake up to this message, right? Because it's much easier than you think. And if you take a look on one of my stories, there is a comment. Guys, go to my Instagram today because my stories are really good. Okay, go to my Instagram. You guys are here on my Instagram. You can see my stories right now. But people on YouTube and on Zoom, go to my Instagram and take a look at my stories, and you will understand what I'm talking about. All right, guys, I'm gonna be out. Oh, let's see. Paulinho said, I'd seen Mairo Vergara interview in Flow podcast, and he quoted you. Yes, he quoted me. I'm telling you, we're friends. Yes. Do you remember, Paulinho, what he said about me? About 8 years ago when we first met, I mean, I've known Mairo Vergara for over 10 years, I guess. Well, maybe 9. Mairo started in 2014, 2013. He started becoming a famous English teacher in 2014, I believe. And I already knew him. We worked together. I worked for him. He hired me to do some work for him. And we went out for a beer. And we were talking about fluency. I mean, we talk a lot. I mean, we used to talk a lot. Nowadays, we don't, because we don't work together anymore. But when we were working together, we talked almost every day, and we discussed ideas. I love him. He's a great guy. Anyway, and he asked me if when I was going to school in the United States, if I had absolutely no problem and I could understand and I could listen to people and understand everything they said effortlessly, without any efforts. And I said, yes. After 2-3 years, I was in America. I didn't have any problems understanding anything that people said. Does that mean I understood 100% of what everybody said? Of course not. But I was 100% immersed in the language. So he told Igor about that. He said, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Leo, and he said, yeah, that I had no problem." The point is, and I'm going to make a video about this. The point is, and Igor asked, "Okay, but." He went to school in America, then he came back to Brazil 10 years, and then he came back. And that happened to me. My fluency went down. But our brain recovers it very quickly, reactivates very quickly. Okay? Very quickly. Okay, guys. We are coming to the end. Estudo inglês há mais de 3 anos, só agora estou começando a entender algumas coisas. Já comecei a fazer curso, mas parei porque não me adaptei com o formato das aulas. Essa história de não se adaptar com o formato das aulas é muito simples. Eu vou te dar uma dica. Se o professor gastar tempo te explicando alguma coisa, o formato da aula está errado. Ele não pode gastar mais do que 10 minutos, 10, 15 minutos daquela aula total explicando alguma coisa. O resto, he will either be speaking in English with you, or he will playing something on television, on audio for you to listen. Ok? Tá aí, uma dica muito simples. Ok? Procure sempre cursos baseados em áudios, onde você possa, igual o Magic Stories, por isso que eu faço o meu jabá aqui. Ok? O Magic Stories você coloca nos ouvidos e pronto, leva para onde você quiser e você treina aqui. Alright? That's right, Paulinho. Yeah, I spoke and I understand English. I understood English just like I understand Portuguese. And it happens today too, okay? Nowadays, I understand English and Portuguese effortlessly. Mais alguma pergunta para a gente terminar? Se eu continuar aqui, vai dar trabalho depois. Teacher, my biggest difficulty is understanding what the natives say. Então, olha só que legal. Essa dúvida aqui do Josué Costa. Essa dúvida é porque você não expõe o suficiente de nativos falando inglês. Olha aqui para cá também. Para você entender. Você não está... Deixa eu explicar uma coisa. A prática, o treino de compreensão, ele é passivo, galera. Ele é passivo, vocês fazem calado, com a boca fechada. Ok? Então, sim, tem que ouvir muito. Ouvir muito. Guys, I gotta go. Thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed this. A galera do Instagram, se gostou, deixa o like, compartilha. Se vocês gostarem, eu vou vir aqui toda semana, eu vou abrir também. Eu vou abrir também para o Instagram. É verdade que devemos pensar em inglês? Não. A verdade é que você nem deveria pensar nisso. Você assistia séries e filmes para melhorar o seu listening? Assisto e vejo até hoje. Pode perguntar para minha namorada. Tem incomoda ela. Tá, mas voltando à questão do pensar em inglês, nem pense nisso. Nem se preocupe com isso, ok? O seu cérebro é mais esperto. Queen Reservas, onde achar esses cursos auditivos? Me procura. Aí um link. A pessoa está no YouTube. Tem um link embaixo. All right? Guys, thank you so much.